Thank you so much for this very interesting lecture, Khenpo Sudaya Rinpoche. I think you would also invite a few questions from the audience before we wind up.
Hello? Perfect. Thank you very much for coming here. And I was just wondering, you were talking about enlightenment. What is enlightenment?
"开悟和真悟呢，就晚上那个睡觉，然后早上6点钟的时候就是突然醒了，就是这个是一个叫小开悟。
Well, for enlightenment, it's just like in the evening you sleep, and then next morning at 6 o'clock you wake up. This is called small enlightenment.
确实这样的，因为著名的月称论师也是说过，马斯德拉，生气有萨不吉拉生气有满的，就我们这个人呢，就像是做梦一样的，就是在做梦的时候呢，自己做梦者梦的对境，还正在梦的各种各样的事情都3种都存在，就30度存在。但是你一旦真的开悟了的时候呢，就是刚才做梦的所有的这些虚幻呢，就是都不存在。在那个时候呢，你的这种心呢，就完全的融入一体，就像超体里面的，就是最后呢，就全部跟这个世界就是融入一体一样的。就我们用语言来说的话，很难表达的。但是确实，你观察自己的心性的时候，就最后就会心的真相呢，就完全都会明白。
Well, it's just like this. In the Tibetan Buddhism, we have the great scholar called Chantrakuti, and he used a dream as a metaphor. So every day we are just like dreaming, and when we are dreaming, actually there's no dreamer, and there's also no object, and there's also no the thing we are dreaming of. And all the three kind of things are empty. They are not existent. And so if our mind all of these reasons comes within our mind. Okay, so our mind had these different functions. But this is very hard to express using words. But you should observe your mind, then you get it.
但开悟呢有2种人，就根基特别好的人，就是那么这种人呢，在上师给他讲一个比较比喻啊，比如说是给你看个什么这个玻璃杯啊，就是通过这种方式来认识自己的心性，就很快就突然就顿悟了，但这是比较少数。
Well, there are disciples or students with sharp faculties, and when the teacher or the guru, and maybe he give a description and he use a metaphor, for example, he show you the glasses, and suddenly you reach enlightenment.
有一个故事，就他的上师把玻璃杯放在这里，最后突然掉在地上。最后听到那个啪的声音的时候呢，他突然就开悟了，也有确实这个历史。
So there is a story that when a guru that he showed the glass to the disciple, and then the glass drop out to the floor, and then the disciple get enlightened after that.
但大多数人呢，就是要通过修行，就像我们藏传佛教当中有3年3个月，就包括你们这个挪威这边的有些也修过这样的，就是其实逐渐修的话呢，最后不说大开悟，但是小开悟应该会有的。
And I think for the majority of people, we reach enlightenment based on our gradual process. Sometimes we have the 3 years with 3 months retreat, and I think some Norwegians also do this retreat. And then after you do the retreat, and if you practice, then gradually you can reach some level of enlightenment.
你想开悟吗？
Do you want to get enlightened?
这是来看不不讲。我们对啊，你看不不起来啊，你可是不嘞？对嘞啊，你起不住，你这把讲的啊，你他们都去气死学。你米些你都在看不不起这， 인라롱 간 기본 망보 지기다 지 그나오레 자나레 니 지그다 롱바 망보 지 나오야 제바 장야 그래야 니 지 나소소미 지 가르스베 가와 레슈체 부지도 데리야 니 가르스베다 가리츠지 디제세지 이 토마토 디슈에요 아니 다니 좋아 가리는 마티 냠시 버지가 아니지 롱에마리아 아니 무람베기 디게 체좀 디데리아 사수 디볼라디나 아니 냠시 디 페이지콜이 나오냐 페이지콜 다 등사 아니지 페이지 단저요 주 페이지가 또 좋아지 그거 삼수 디가리스나 등사 당한수 변나오야 아니지 남슈디 데지 자오 나오라 휴체부지 다그에 무슨다고 주고다지 자오만 부지기 추리야 냠이지에 저러 이 인디다 손바만 부지기 아니지 고추기 벤조기 추치디야 가만 간살레디 소마이지 추리야파 냠이지 다 추지기 있으니 아니지 가서 그래 총지야 되는 참조라고 지지 참라고 시작이 그 가서 그 원바코라지아레 많이 줘야 남주 소주기 추제단 저러 디제제니 총 그래야 아니지 튜션도 위해서라고 디리야 아니 캠프는 부지기 통속가리에 나스 좋아 당부되지 좋아 니버드 가리스나다 제단 노쇼리아 등산이지 출루 돌냠시지야 그 고유지 나오리아 남출이 문제 제다 칸인도 삼선하고 지고라 당부대 가래서는 남슈스지서마 엔지 람루지라 남슈 출루 람루 추랑 그래야 아니지 냠시 슈체고마 제와제 지그 람루다 진주들이야 냠시제니 출이야 지가르스 치닌 줘야 돼. 출문지 제단 지당야 수제대 출랑이야 아니 냠시제야겠다 지다 디이나 슈체보랑 매비선다고 줘라. 출랑 지다다 개보를 뭐 지금 송안나시지. 뭐니 냠리다 아니 출랑 다지 좀다게 되게 토리아 냠시제야겠지. 다 로다 체크 지금 노쇼리나 로다 디리디 대해서 용금면도 상사로 다소도 지금 다단다고 지어이나 드리라고 지금 나이나 미세 출냠시 제금에 이내 출대스 직수소 다 게드면 대지 가르세 그래 지금 아이익스는 좀 대지 대바 그때 그바지 인상 아니 그래야 따라한 시기라고 지라 티티 다 좋다 이 신바마우 드셨냐
아 당이 네 워크티 더 란뎀죠 아 또이나 실던 거 다다리 솔라롱 거 또는 지금 캄보르 남바가 다지 워크스카이 그래 출루 그래 다지 디 쇼나요 저 니바는 디즈 퍼게요래 다 옛날에 저 쇼강트네 장 니바 전부 통제거나 까모래 강타리야 저 참에 라라소수 단 니바 때니다 소다 한번 지금 분석 공을 그 지대네 지다 뭐만 거 쳐다 loksoshiki hale bakar chimbo yang song da tamong rang song de tene khong ru ngoni na yang sacha suso de katsa marta ida da khong ru shna skeli da ri de nyongje na tabo yo re de re da yang momong ga nang tene chi chucha sha ji da lokso ji da kai ga to na shi ji da pe chi da mong zu shone da di sikjing ge ji 당 알아서 술가르 거니 나지 쇼강트는 다지 니바 전부 통요 말이다 옛날에 지 참마가 지 니바디즈 라랑 거 무슨니 아니 다시한 참은 주시기요래
First and foremost from the Larong car it has been actually immensely played a vital role in the development of Tibetan based on its culture and the traditions and languages, preserving the literature and etc. So therefore, it was main visions of the Khenchen Jigme Phunzo Rinpoche, and he preferred to actually give guidance and advices in order to bring the changes within the society. And even though he himself is not very healthy at that time, he wishes to go around and meet the communities and give advices. But due to his health, problem, and he could not actually go across the Tibet. But somehow he established a center of the education such as Larung Kar, and then to produce more number of expert Khenpos. And then this Khenpos has been actually helping for the development and the preservation of the Tibetan based on culture, language, and then dharma. But I cannot just say we actually have done so much. We actually contributed so much. But I can actually say that Larung has been actually played a vital role for the contributions for the development of Tibet and Tibetans.
这个的指望你跟那个指望当部的人，他指望当部的是东个我从波巴个弄那当上就他从吧就被全部的了，但那就修补他就从人呢从拉玛他人中肯跟那就他被他的从吧是可能是扎成的，点着就他公布之类。
So now I would like to go to answer the first question that he raised. Among the Tibetans, obviously there's some businessmen, but it is very much rare to have a successful businessman within the Tibetan community. But there's some people who does the business in Tibet and in China.
对，我做播报的那当上，你我人跟同村的人呢，就被那的这个也在跟不个就从然后就从把历史的全部人的，但那样就等康巴派中是中学人，等这个样的从当的，他等你马上把个样就被那冷酷个从样看着的，他等着就屋子就也是从把等那样两把个没得做的，但那样就反正刚才他那样，等着没那样就。 그런 측면에 정말 저 런클거 다반수 머릭디 나네요 지 정말 어서 지 잔다 만자바가 차버던다나 예셔거 쇼레 되는 하사거 쇼레 되는 단 저런 거 쇼인데 인가래 요사래 아마 다른 저런 건 잘한 거 사자던데요 지 정말 가래 된다 특성.
As far as I experiences among the Tibetan communities, there's the actually businessmen, and then they're doing a business and trading based on so-called yarzakumbu, the caterpillar, which is the kind of herb, and then which grows summer as a grass and then winter as an insect, which is called yarzakumbu, and then which is very much famous across the Tibet, and then they do this kind of business, and then some actually Tibetan businessmen are doing a business based on transportation, such as selling the cars, buying cars, and then some does the business based on housing, selling housings and so forth. But among the Tibetans and businessmen, so these actually three groups, which is categorized as treasure or sellers of the Yarzagumbu or the vehicles and or the housings, they are considered as a successful businessmen within the Tibetan community. And then, but if you compare these businessmen with another businessmen, those who are highly recognized, and then I think they are not that actually successful businessmen, but within the community, it can be considered as a successful businessman. And so this kind of businessmen can be found in the area of Lhasa, the capital, and then the Tongan area of Selim, and some you will find in the usual area of Sichuan province in Tibet.
아주 보바는 거 근데 추바대소에나 디즈 지 양바단 쪽바는 다 때로도 답바데 디즈 담보는 그런서 추좀 큰는 개인 도마진 괜찮다 요사래 근데 아직 총바다는 근데 지금 길근 제모다는 다 근데 당상 정치권 하나 요는데 저로 파르치가 딱 내런 거 따따이나 추쇼가 지금 그런서 답바데는 디즈 공부는 로고나 지금 다 총대가 이게 다는데 다디 추고 라마징게다 공부를 했던 거요. 딱 직전에 총라마 마송했더니 그런 지금 당사 제시 도르메 있는데 지금 추나 주변 등등의 요함의 심하도 되면은 또 파르체와도 지금 다 지금 정치를 금매 대sol다 뭐만 거나 가서 뽑아도 지추요 박 머르그들의 대 추드단 총의 니감냠도 요네나 당 아랑 수삼네나 되네 총대양 다리가 존든 되금 도그 갑나요나 총다 장래다는 조래다는 되는 초아가 탑망보스도 송요는 총대양 거기서 레다가 좀 머리 만자가 임비샤나는 나추대양 por 말했다는 있나 지 종치를 끝난 그 총바대 저 망보지그 다 나추가 답바대 por torin 요구 삼고요.
When it comes to the spiritual practices, and for the spiritual practices, it requires to have a pure devotions in the dharma. So, in the case of dharma, in the case of devotions, in the case of devotions, and then majority of the monastic, practitioners such as monk and then so on and so forth, most of them are from the nomad area, not from the town, not from the valleys. So traditionally, these nomad peoples has an unchanging sort of devotions in the dharma. So these people are quite a good and then serious in the practice of the dharma. But people from the valley, town, city, and then these people has a very, kind of not that stable mind for the dharma. So as far as which I experience, so therefore it is very much difficult to have a proper devotion in dharma. And then sometimes, but these people from town, those who do the business and so on and so forth, when they come to the dharma, actually they are coming to take refuge in dharma not because of the devotions, but sometimes when they face the problems, and when the economy goes down and drop downs, and then they are stressed and frustrated, and then as solutions, and then they come temporarily as a dharma practitioners, but actually they're lacking the essence of the dharma, which is the devotion. So which is very much rare to find the people from the valley and town.
네, karma 니에만도. 네, 저와 니바테 다 점직을 따서그 다 그런서 길거 몸보서 그 점직을 따서그 때네 나초대래 요래. 다 옛날에 뭐 상로 땅나 신나 점직도 냠는다 또 촉 니건 거래래. 대난 촉 길거 몸보지가 가서 뽑아가 때네 추대라 점직시 종조조 때네 냠는 제때 할레바 지스 이런 거요. 옛날에 가서 나네 지금 그러나 상황가 냠는 거거든요. 다 대소도 디즈도 점직은 거네 또 냠는 다 시에나 페이지 다 상점 몸보스 요너래. 때 마음 방원이 오늘 달에 다 너네야 때네 납초고 때네 괴바 몸보스 가서 보바가 당상이나 저 보르크다나 때네 보이차가 머신가 몸보요래. 옛날 납초고 몸보지가 때네 보이기 양장 때네 달에 보르크 양장 때네 집 초간트네 다나 배차즈도 총주시지 선조고 배만자도 그 과정 전부에 때네 마음하나야 다 데스타와가 또 판선 로종시야다나 판선 때네 점직시야다나 맞초가 지 ren탕요 바가 때네 로종대 다per시지다 총주시지 과정 맞춰서지대요.
In Buddhism, actually, what do you call it? This business things, and it's also actually important because for the survival skills, and then even what Buddha mentions in the sutras regarding the business and then farming, etc., you can use it as a method of survival. So therefore, and then both dharma practice and then the what do you call it? The livelihood business is also important. So, but we have to be wise. Okay, and then so we would like to actually go for this second question. So there is actually different levels of different approach of practicing the dharma and learning. So I will make it short, and then many of actually Western scholars and students they do the research in Buddhism, which is good, and but in the level of the practice, when you bring it into the practice, that's on the Vajrayana tradition, and it is a little bit difficult because you cannot actually just do the research on a particular subject, and you cannot actually implement the practices because there's a restrictions in the Vajrayana. So therefore, but it is good, and then, but one and another can actually exchange the knowledge and experiences, and then they can share each other. But in terms of the practice of the Vajrayana, and it's a little bit restricted, and then due to this, I think you cannot just actually, do the research on particular things, because it cannot be shared. And but the Western, how to say, the practitioners and then especially the researchers, such as universities and colleges, they have been played a vital role in the preservation of the Buddha's teachings and then the scriptures. So therefore, I would like to actually thank you for the preservation and mentioning. So please keep the how to say, relations for in the long run. Thank you.